Hi friends, it's Julia. I'm here to share my Out with the Old and Layout share for my October 2019 Counterfeit Kit Challenge kit. This kit was a challenge. It was huge. And I had let it sit on my shelf from October 2019 to October 2020. I think part of it was because I was intimidated by the size. So anyway, I decided to play along with Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches this month, or for the month of October, and in that month I created 30 layouts, and I did it exclusively with this kit. Now, I had started off with a ton of papers, cardstock and pattern papers and 6x6 paper pads, and I added to that some additional scraps when I started this year. When I started in October, I added in some additional scraps as well as some additional cardstock. Towards the end of the kit, I had to pull in cardstock and use a lot of the scraps that I had added in, but I had used those throughout. But anyway, this is what I have left of my pattern paper, and you can see it's all in different sizes. I'm usually pretty tidy with my scraps and keep them all lined up, but at the point where I was out with this kit, I was just done. And I was building, towards the end I got behind on the 30 Days of Sketches, and so by the end I was building page kits, and so I wasn't diving into a lot of these once I had my papers pulled for the page kits. But you can see I saved like little bits and pieces until I was for sure I was done. Even here, most of this, no, all of this is going to go into the recycle bin because I'm done. I've used this paper kit twice. I'm done. I'm not going to use it again. And it was this kit. Was it this one? No. I had the remainder. Yeah, this one. It was the My Mind's Eye paper pad that I had, and I pulled half of that pad apart to use with this kit, and then these were the scraps left from the first time that I had created with this kit, and I just kept them in here and pulled them in to use with this. I had some leftover stickers with this one that I had pulled in and used, so but I pulled those in now in 2020. With the original kit, I don't think I had anything but scraps left in this one, and I used a ton of those scraps, and I hung on to what I did have because I have loved one of my favorite paper pads of all time of ever, and so I used the heck out of the scraps that were in here, and this may go back into my stash, but it may not. We'll see. I'll have to go through and figure out what scraps I have left. This one was almost full. I think I had, out of 24 sheets, I think I had like 18. And you can see I have 1, 2, 3 whole sheets of 6x6 paper left. Quite a few scraps in there, but not as many as you would think considering how much I used it. So yeah, I'll debate on that one. This one was a full 24 sheets, and I think I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm a little over halfway done with this, and I have quite a few scraps in the back, so this will for sure go back into my stash. I had added in some specialty paper, some tissue paper. I had black and 2 shades of pink. I used the black up, and I still have quite a bit of both of these. They'll go back into my stash as well. This was actually something that I fussy cut from the pattern paper. I'll put it into my leftovers bin if I can use it. I had doilies that I had added in. I have like a whole stack stuck together. There must have been like 7 or 8 doilies, and I have half of one. Just half. That's it. I had added in alphabets. I had added in these Felicity Jane Willow Puffy stickers, and you can see this one is nearly used up. There's quite a few numbers left on this one and quite a few tiles. I may be able to piece together some additional words. Anywho, these will go back into my stash for now. These were both brand new when I started. As were these. These are also Felicity Jane. They are gold foiled chipboard alphas, and I used the heck out of these as well. Still have plenty of numbers to play around with, but as far as those go. This set from Sticko had 2 sheets in here, and you can see I've used a ton of the first sheet and quite a few of the second sheet as well. I had added in some enamel dots of the black. That's what I have left. Of the dark pink, I have that left. And then of the multicolored, I have this one left. Sorry about that glare, guys. It's just my daytime light in my room is pretty bright. I had 2 bits of chipboard that I had added in. This one had 1 piece left, and it was pretty full. This one has 3 pieces left. I'm going to pop those out and put them in with my freckled fawn stash, but for the most part, the outer shell of the chipboard is done with. I had added in this collection of ephemera pieces, and it was from Michael's and from their $1.50 bin, and I only have 2 little tags left of all the ones that I had in there. Those will go into my black color bin. These are a packet of ephemera, and I don't remember who the manufacturer was, but it had pink and peach and yellow and gold and purple and green and lots of different pieces. I have used everything that I think I can use out of here. I have quite a bit of purple, but I don't think I'm going to hang on to this. This one is going to go into my do not want bin because I think I'm tired of looking at these. This is from a Heidi Swap collection of ephemera bits and pieces called Everyday, and I have used this a ton. Love that so much. It was fun to play with. These are the Jenny Bolin stickers, the butterfly stickers, and you can see I have used all but 5 of them, and I have loved using those. These are Freckled Fawn, and I had about half a package of these little phrases left, quote stickers, and this is what I have left, just 2 little bits. These are border strips that have adhesive backing. They are clear backing, and there are white and silver left in here, and I have 8. I did not start with the full pack, I will give you that. I started, I don't know how many, probably with about maybe 15 or 16, so I used not quite half of what I had left. I have this border strip from Queen & Company. It is that felted piece, and it is pink. I tried to use it, but for whatever reason I didn't. This was left over with that one collection that I had previously scrapbooked, and there were quite a few stickers on here. There were actually 2 pieces. There, I used up everything on this sticker sheet and then brought this over. Not sure I'm going to keep these at this point. I've used the heck out of them, so I think I'm okay with letting these go, so they can go into the trash. I had a chipboard piece here with a Freckled Fawn kit that I had added in. It got used up. Also from that same kit, I had these enamel dots. Those will go back into my Freckled Fawn, but I'm not keeping it together as a kit because I've used so much out of it. These are the labels that I had, and I used them all. These are the washi strips. I used 1 entire sheet and several from here. And then these are the alphabet tiles. I don't think I had used those previously, and so I used the heck out of these. I actually had to go into my stash and get another set of these. Yeah, because I used so many. These butterflies I used a few from, and they will go back into my stash as well. I'm okay with adding all of these embellishments back into my stash. It doesn't hurt my heart at all. These are letter stickers that I had used previously, but I used a ton more. I'm getting close to not being able to do much with it. I have a U and a couple of O's and a E. I've got some F's that I can make into E's, and I have a couple of V's that I can make into A's. So I think I can get a little more use out of them, but I'm getting close to the end. This set from Glitz, these teeny alphas in gold, I use the heck out of these. And they'll of course go back to my stash. I had added in these arrows from Freckled Fawn, and I used one in black. I have these washi strips from Felicity Jane. They are from the Willow collection. And you can see I have a partial piece here, and a full floral piece there, and I have 3 full strips here. This set from Freckled Fawn, I have a partial piece here and 1, 2, 3 strips here, and then a full set on the back. And this set from the Jana collection, I had 1 full strip and then a couple of partial strips I used up. Yeah, so that will go into the trash. So that's trash stuff right there. And then of course my stamp set, I used it once. I know, not a ton. This is my trash pile. Let me see, what else do I have left? I had added in a ton of potty people and a ton of arrows and then hearts. The hearts and arrows came out of this bin and it was pretty full. But what I have left as far as the arrows go will go right back into here. And this will go back into my stash. This set of potty people I used a ton of and it was full. I have like 3 or 4 packs in here and I have this many left. 2 little boys and a bigger boy. Yeah, goes right back into there and these will go back into my stash. Buttons, I had gone through my pink color bins and my gray color bins, and you can see button wise that's what I have left, and I have this piece of chipboard from my pink color bin, and then also from my pink color bin, I kind of have this divided. I have these bits and pieces here. There's a piece of a tag, there's a title, these journal pieces, another title, there's the other piece to that tag, a little chipboard piece, some coffee cups or teacups, and I have some photo corners. All of this will go back into my pink color bin. So that's what I have left from everything that I added in initially. And then also I have these. These are my leftover bling, flat back pearl and bling from my stash in the color pink. And yeah, that'll go back into my stash. From my gray and black color bin, I have a couple of these that I had cut out with my silhouette. I have that left. This was a full sheet of stone looking stickers, and these are the 3 I have left that I cut out of that bigger sheet. I have that embellishment left. Of course I have my stickles and my liquid pearls, and then I have a couple pieces that I had stamped and fussy cut. That's a little leftover tag. And then these gray bits here with words on them actually came from this Scrapworks Alpha Dots. And these were pretty full. I can't remember if they were brand new when I started, but I used the heck out of both of them. So those will go back into my stash. I had added in some silver bling from my stash. It got used up. This is just a leftover bag. Washi tape, I had added in this set from Walmart. Sorry, I had to think about that because I'm thinking I didn't get that at Michael's. That came from Walmart, and I used the heck out of it. I did also use these a ton. I'm to the end of this roll. I may leave this out to finish off. I think I have probably not even a foot left of that. And I made a dent in this one and this one, but not so much in this one. And I did finish off a roll of washi tape, which is always fun to do. And these are some leftover pieces that I had added in, punched out hearts from my pink color bin. And throw those back in there. I had added in some brads, gold brads, and that's all I have left. Just that. So those will go back into my stash. These are glitter bits and metallic pieces that I have punched out previously, and they will go back into my stash. I did use a bunch of those. So let's see, what else do I have here? I showed you that. I finished off a roll of foam tape, which you guys know that's pretty impressive to finish off one of those large rolls. I have all sorts of carrier sheets from the leftover bling that I had added in from that pink and gray. I have these border strip from the felted border strips that I had added in. This was the Heidi Swap, not a fleur-de-lis. What do you call it? Just a flourish type embellishment. I had added quite a few from the roll that I have, and I used them all up. There's another carrier sheet. These were the triangle enamel dots. This was a cork doily that I had. I had some acrylic hearts that I had added in, paper heart stickers that were embossed, more of those felted border strips, more of that, and this was a sticker sheet that had a few stickers left on it that I had brought in to use up as well. So from that standpoint, I got a ton used. I did add in a few additional things when I brought this kit forward to 2020. I showed you the one packet of scraps that I had used up and added in with the other. This is one that I had pulled in. It was from the Story of Our Family in Echo Park collection, but the colors matched really well, and so these are the scraps that I have left. This will probably get incorporated, since I used so many of them. This will probably get incorporated into my color scraps, the smaller color scraps, because I still like a lot of those. I had this set from the Paper Studio that I had previously used, I think to make cards maybe. Maybe I did some layouts with it, but that's what that was, the Hello Darling, and I just could not stand to get rid of what I had. But I have used quite a few scraps from here, and I think I will put a few of these pieces in my leftover scraps bin, but for the most part that's done. And then this set was leftover bits and pieces from a card making kit, one that I had just put together. There were Felicity Jane scraps in here, as well as some other, and that's all I have left. I had also added in Felicity Jane leftovers, but used them all. I had added in thread, and these were pretty full when I added them in. These are the crochet twine. I used a ton of them, a ton of what I had, and yeah. So I added in this Color Mist Rum Punch, and I was using it. I added that in 2020, as I did with this Chartreuse Color. If you guys haven't heard me say, this Chartreuse Color Shine from Heidi Swapp is my favorite color shine. I like it even better than the gold. And so I was glad to be able to pull that and use some of that. If you'll give me just a second, I will show you my layouts. Be right back. So here we go. How's that? 30 layouts. 30 days, 30 layouts from Christy's Beautiful Life. So this one was day number 1. And this is my newest grandson. He is my son's wife's child. But, you know, of course he's part of our family. So he's our grandson now. I used a lot of those border strips in creating this, those ones that were pre-packaged, as well as the felted border strips. So I got tons used, as well as some ephemera down here. And I do have a process video up for all of these. Some of them have not posted yet, but they will throughout the month of November. This one is my son and his wife, my younger son and his wife, and this is one where I used a ton of scraps from those 6x6 paper pads. Not so much from the this paper in the background is from the collection, but as far as pattern paper goes, all of these scraps, with the exception of this one, is from the 6x6, and then of course this cut apart or fussy cut floral embellishment there. But you can see I used buttons and flat back pearls, yeah, and those embellishments, those gold tone embellishments that I said I was done with, yeah, those are there. That was from day 2. This is day number 3. I stretched it across a 2-page layout. Let me take that off. And you can see I used the pattern paper, I used cardstock, I used the alphas, I use photo corners, tags, lots of different ephemera on these 2 pages. And I love how this came out. That is the only one that I stretched across 2 pages. This one was for day number 4. And you can see not a large piece of pattern paper, but I did use some of the pattern paper. I used some 6x6 paper, and I had punched some circles with some scraps and used those. I used buttons, the glittered pieces that were from my stash. yeah, enamel dots, the large enamel dots. Those are some of those Heidi Swapp embellishments, and I did put some spray mist in the background. I used quite a bit of spray mist this go around. This is one for day 5, and I used one of those Heidi Swapp pieces that I had in my stash for years. I cut it apart and used a piece here and a piece down at the bottom. I used a doily. I used lots of bits and pieces that I cut out, and I used, look at all those brads. Do you see all those brads? Oh my gosh. Yeah, used chipboard, labels, washi strips. Yeah, used tons and tons of stuff on that one. This one was for day 6. And it was for a swim party that we went to, an annual swim party. You can see lots of embellishments, lots of washi strips, washi tape. That's a 6x6, 2 6x6 cut apart to make a border for the, a banner for the title. Fussy cut pieces, flat back pearls, yeah, you name it. Ephemera that I had previously cut out from my leftovers bin. Yeah, happy with that one. This one is day 7. And you can see I used, it is a little bit warpy because I did the packaging technique on the background with some of that pink, the Rum Punch Tattered Angels spray. Yeah, I used leftover paper here. I used washi tape and more leftover paper. This one is actually a 6x6 that I cut apart. Washi tape here. Layered up embellishment cluster here with buttons. Tons and tons of ephemera on these layouts. And the tissue paper in the background I love. This is day 8. I had added in this acetate piece, and so I cut it apart, used part at the top, part at the bottom, used one of those bits for a title, and just layered up some stuff, and then used the liquid pearls to create my enamel dots. Day 8 on that one. This is day 9. I added a lot of scraps to this one. This is mostly all scraps from the one collection. With the exception of this one. This is from the collection that I pulled in to create the kit, but all of these are scraps, and all of those are scraps, and all of this is scraps. So all the ephemera and stuff is from the kit that I curated. So yeah, that was day 9. This is day number 10. Oh, I'm catching my fingers. I guess I need to put a piece of washi tape on that. I did sewing on this one, as you can see. Yeah, day number 10, a scrap down the middle, fussy cut floral piece, a doily, lots of bits and pieces. There's one of those gray stone looking stickers that I put in the background and put my journal spot right over it. Used another of those border strips, a piece of washi tape across there. Yeah, lots of little bits and pieces on here. Photo corners, the butterflies. Yeah, this is day 11. And again, I took a leftover piece of paper, punched out all of these to create a scallop border across there, used washi strips to create this, enamel dots, wood veneer, 2 different fonts, one of those arrow clips, wood veneer here, lots of previously cut out things from my stash, one of these journal spots. Yeah. This is day 12. Lots of 6x6 scraps on this one. All of these are 6x6, as are all of these bits and pieces around here. And then the photos, of course, I used that cork doily, wood veneers, little bits and pieces from the border strips. That's something that I had previously stamped and fussy cut. Then part of my my subtitle is in this gold font, a part of a tag down here, lots of those border strips or journaling spots back behind there. So that is day 12. This is day 13. I use lots of washi strips, lots of washi tape across there. I even added in a little bit of washi tape to this one from my stash that wasn't in the kit. I have those words from the Alpha Dots. I have those pieces from Heidi Swap, buttons, labels, a tile letter sticker down here, and the bigger font there. And the enamel dots, the large enamel dots. Got tons done with those. This is day 14. This one didn't turn out exactly like I wanted it to, but it's done and it's going in the album. It's called Sweet Matilda. So you can see I used a portion of a doily here, used buttons and butterflies, more of those Scrapworks tiles, more ephemera down here, scraps, border strips down here at the bottom. Yeah, day 14. This is day 15, and you can see I use cardstock as a background. Lots of scraps on this one and washi tape down the center. Fussy cut butterflies. I used 3 different fonts in creating my title and my story. Lots of ephemera pieces here, flat back pearls, enamel dots. Used a label up here, wood veneer, more of those fussy cut butterflies, another bit of that Heidi Swap embellishment there, and I use more tissue paper around here. That was day 15. This is day 16. Again, cardstock as my background and then scraps in the front. I use lots of washi strips and washi tape. I use this piece from Silhouette that I had cut out, put my journal spun on it, and then used a lot of the enamel dots and such, and flatback pearls and glitter dots to put in the inside. Made some embellishment clusters with hearts and lots of different little bits and pieces. So yeah, even used some of the words from that one sticker sheet. This is day 17. Grid layout. Used a lot of floral pieces up here that I fussy cut. I used washi tape as a border to go around the photo. I used washi tape and a scrap to go down the side over here. Added a tag, lots of flat back pearls in here, layered up tabs and embellishments and hearts and enamel dots and labels all throughout to create my clusters. This is one of my favorites because it has that grid, standard 4-grid layout. I love that. This one is day 18, and you can see cardstock as my background. One of the pattern papers that was not my favorite, but it carried over. It kept carrying over, and I needed to use it, so I used it as a background. But then layered this stuff around the photo in order to not necessarily disguise, but to draw your attention in to the photo as opposed to the background paper. And I think that darker pink kind of pulls everything together. Use little scraps of washi tape. There's some of those wood veneer butterflies, fussy cut flowers. There's a camera. There's some chipboard bits. There's 2 different fonts on here. Yeah, lots of flat back pearl. Okay, this is day 19. And I took some 6x6 pattern papers and I cut them diagonally and then just put them across. If you look closely, you can see the color variations, and I'm okay with that. I used a full piece here and a full piece here, and then half a piece here and half a piece there. I used a couple of different fonts to create my title, used some cut aparts, used some flat back pearls. I took a couple of labels down here and then put one of those quotes right over top of that. Little scraps of washi tape with my date up at the top. I used some of those words. That was a 3x4 card that I cut the quote out of. Yeah, and used some of the black tissue paper to map my photo. So yeah, day 19. This is day 20. And so I used I went into my stash, into my scrap bin, and I pulled this piece of paper as well as this pink paper and layered those up to create this center or off-center like area to put all of my photos down. Well, my 2 photos. I had a couple of tags here that I wasn't crazy about the sentiment for, and I just covered them up with some additional things. I used some boy and girl potty people along with the hearts and enamel dots. I have a tag stuck in back here. I have a doily. I have one of those Heidi Swap images, floral images there, and use 2 different fonts, well, and the ampersand, so 3 different fonts to create the title. Lots of little bits and pieces of washi tape through there. And that is day 20. And like I said, I have a process video for each of these layouts. They might not be up yet, but they will be. If you haven't seen them already on my channel, they're coming all the way through the month of November, I think. This one is day 21. I used all scraps on this page and did some outlining because all of these scraps with the different bits and pieces just felt a little bit cluttered underneath the busy photos, and so I just went around the outside of all of them. Used a tag with some Potty People girls throughout, did some smaller photos, as well as I took a couple of photos. This bottom portion of the photo was not great, and this top portion of the photo was not great. So I just cut them out right at the corner and put them in. A couple of different fonts. There's that tag that I had added in from a purse, I believe, and it says Heart Soul on the front of it, and I put the ampersand Friends. So Heart, Soul, and Friends. So there's that day number 21. Well, if I can find some place to stick that. This is day number 22. Again, I took some scrap papers and some tissue paper to put behind the photos. I used some of the glitter mist, put it on some packaging and just smooshed it out with the packaging technique. The inspiration, I think, had a lot of arrows clustered on either side, and so I just took a lot of maybe triangle pieces, pieces cut from like the chevron-y paper, wood veneer arrows. There's a camera that was fussy cut. Those pieces from Heidi Swap. That actually says family dinner, and I just tucked it under. Used some of those words from the Market Street. Day 22. This is day 23. So I went through, and this is primarily all from the 6x6 pad, with the exception of a few little bits and pieces. I used tons of gold glitter stars. I used tons of scraps for sure. The gold glitter stars, the washi tape scraps, wood veneer hearts, heart wood veneer, the arrow wood veneer, a font here. I did pull in some additional letters to create my journaling. It says Sunset on the Beach, Pensacola, Florida. Nothing fancy, just real simple and basic journaling. This one, as you can tell, I'm getting closer. I think that yellow paper was my last full sheet of paper to get used. And this is the point where I pull in, I think here, pulling in cardstock and using scraps. So starting day 23, I don't have any full sheets of paper left, with the exception of cardstock, and I think this is the point too where I pulled in some additional cardstock because I had run out of what I had already added in. And just FYI, this is a sheet of paper that I wasn't going to use at all, so I just flipped it over and used the back side, which worked out fine. So like I said, this one is all scraps. Again, all scraps, along with some, these are 6x6 papers on here. This is for day 24. How do I manage to get those things stuck like that? It just amazes me sometimes. So Day 24, I used a couple of the Heidi Swapped. I used some splatters there, some washi strips, more washi bits and pieces here and here. I used a brad and a couple enamel dot and flatback pearl here. Summer Getaway in Pensacola, Florida. I put my journaling, I mean, my title is me. It doesn't have to be fancy, just so long as it's a representation. This one is day 25, and the original had stitching going across there. I just got out a real tiny brush and stuck it right into my spray mist, and then did that across the page, just zigzag across the page, and it turned out super cute. I did not bring it far enough over to this side, and so I had to go back and add some on this side, trying to make it look like the tail end. But again, all scraps back behind the photo. I did not pull anything in with the exception of the cardstock. I used tons of little butterflies. These are fussy cut butterflies, wood veneer, enamel dots. I stamped out the title, and it says The Good Life. Used some of the little potty people down here. Did some journaling with the tile stickers as well as on the paper. Used some buttons. I love that I got so many buttons used with this. And I had punched out, and that's something that I didn't explain before, I had punched out tickets and tabs with some of these scraps and early on, and so that's what a lot of this is. And as I was getting towards the end, I was punching a few more bits and pieces, and these are some fussy cut butterflies. This stuff will go into my leftover bin, and if I can pull it out and use it at some point, I will. Oh, and by the way, I finally finished using up that last little bit of washi tape on there to go back and put over the brads on a couple of these layouts. So anyway, day 25. This one is day 26. And you can see I have my cardstock on the background, and I just took 4 pieces of the 6x6 paper pad. I think the original sketch had arrows again, and rather than do that, I just left it like this. I didn't need to have those diagonal pieces of paper in there. This worked just fine, and that way I didn't have to go in and cut these pieces of paper and try and make them work, and this turned out fine. I used those stickers that look like stone on either side, this one here and then this under the sticker here. Yeah, use wood veneer, tons of wood veneer, use some of the quotes from around, use the words from one of the sticker sheets. Simple and basic layout, but I love how it turns out. It's funny, as I'm going through and I'm getting closer to getting the kit done and I am scrounging for supplies, I'm loving these layouts the best. Does anyone else do that? When you get down to your bare minimum, you know, and you have to work to get the layout to come together? Yeah. So this is day 27. Again, it was a center small little bit and piece, but I had these larger pieces of paper that I wanted to get used up, so I pulled them in. Today was totally, and then I left that blank because I have Extraordinary over here. I used the butterflies, the embossed stickers, I used the words, I have a doily here. And this says Annabelle has an opinion. Oh my gosh, this kiddo. She is so opinionated. She is such a cute thing. We love having her in our lives. She is my oldest son's girlfriend. It's her daughter. And so you can see tissue paper back behind the photo to mat it on. This is day 28. And I love how this one turned out. I wish I had used a cream paint. It's an acrylic paint that I used to smush along here instead of stark white, but you know, you learn as you go along. So, and then the Mr. Huey's that I had put around the page looks gray because it picked up it absorbs the color of the paper. If you did not know that, if you put white down on black paper, it will turn it gray. If you put it down on green paper, it will turn it green. So the only way to keep white splatters white is to put it on white paper. Yeah, and that's no fun, right? So there's an image that I had fussy cut out. I had previously stamped and fussy cut out, used some of the words up here, used some buttons, use the glitter stickles on this layout for the first time. Some more wood veneer. I had this old leather frame in my stash forever, and I pulled it into this kit and just put it on here getting ready. And these two kids are my son's wife. It's her two kids. And so this one, the older one, Caden, my son is actually adopting. They're going through that process. He asked him to adopt him. Merritt is still a little too young to make any kind of decisions like that, and so it needs to be their decision if they want a parent to adopt them. Excuse me, and he's just too young to make that decision. So, but Caden's not, and he asked my son to adopt him, which is very heartwarming. This is day 29. And so here I had taken a couple of 6x6 to create my background along with some washi tape, and then I took some big circles that I had die cut with the stitching around the edge, put my title here, used 2 different fonts for that, and then just layered up. I have one of those journal pieces of paper, I have a tag, I have a pocket page card, I have an anchor, I have a little tag that I ticket that I punched. That's a sentiment from one of the embellishment packs where the anchor came from. This one actually has a lucky clover on it, and I just used it to back behind the camera to take the gold from here to here to here. I use buttons and wood veneer. There's some more of those little tickets. I use flat back pearls. Simple layout, but to me it is uber cute, and I love that it tells a story and it's ready to go into the album. And then finally I get to my last one, and again, all scraps. And so I took the one scraps that I had added in, and rather than make photos in small sizes, I put the pattern paper scraps in the smaller sizes, in the 2x2, and then I had a third photo that I was going to use, but for whatever reason didn't, and because of that I feel like everything's a little off center, and it's weighed more over to the right side or to the left side. So I thought about going in and actually cutting the So I've considered cutting it down in order to mat it on a different sheet of cardstock, but I don't necessarily know that I will. I think maybe it'll just be done. Yeah, something to think about. Anyway, that's layout 30. So 30 layouts with one kit. And like I said, these last pages are all scraps. No solid sheets of paper. And I'm really enjoying these last ones and how well they turned out. Yeah, pretty pleased with my overall outcome with this kit. I think it scared me off because it was so very large, and I was intimidated by that and didn't necessarily want to start working through it, because sometimes when a kit is super duper large, it makes me a wee bit fearful of what I can create or how much I can create with it, because I don't want to be one of those people who always works to get, you know, 20 or 30 layouts out of a kit. I want to be one that gets enough and I'm able to move on, but I find myself a lot of times not able to move on, and that can be limiting to some degree. I have this thought process that I have to finish all the pattern paper in a kit before I consider it killed. I'm okay with not finishing the embellishments, but I haven't been able to give myself permission to not finish all the paper. I'm trying to be better about it, so each month when I pull a kit out or create a kit, I think to myself, okay, I need to start limiting how much paper I put in here if I'm truly going to say I don't want to work with this kit forever. I want to work with it for a little while and then move it out. And I think that's what I've done for the next month. I've pulled together a small paper pack, but a huge supply of embellishments and ephemera and, you know, stuff. And so my goal is to make 4 or 5 page kits for the month of November in order to get the paper used up, and then the embellishments can go back into my stash. That'll be fine. But yeah, that will, once that's done, I will consider the kit killed. I've also put together a Christmas stash in order to build some page kits because I want to do a 30 days of sketches with Christmas paper. Christy's Beautiful Life isn't going to do another 30 days of sketches until March, which I plan to play along with at that point. I don't think I'll have a kit big enough to do just, you know, like this one was. I think the other kits on my shelves are reasonable in the amount of stuff that they have in them. But we'll see as time goes by. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you watching my video. I hope you found some inspiration. If you've got that old paper pack in your stash, you know, or any of those papers, I encourage you to get them out, use them up, and move on to something else in your stash. Anyway, guys, I'll see you on the next video. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.